Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes was an animated show that aired around a decade ago, for a woefully short 2 seasons. It was fantastic, probably the best animated Avengers property ever made, but I don't see too many videos mentioning it these days, so I thought I'd make one, about this show's depiction of the infamous Marvel villain Ultron, and how in one villainous scene from an episode entitled The Ultron Imperative, the show tells us exactly what it is that makes this tin can such a chilling villain. So in case you weren't aware, Nando v Movies issued another call to arms, this time asking content creators to break down a particular scene from any property focusing on a villain, and what makes the scene and villain in question so great. I'll throw a link to his video and the playlist in the description, but let's get going. The title of this video isn't just a play on words, it's true. The Avengers in this show face a multitude of serious threats, but Ultron is the only one of these top level enemies that's from Earth. Or at least our Earth. Kang is from the distant future. The other true existential threats posed, the ones with the power to actually destroy the world, include efforts by the Kree, the Skrull, Malekith, Korvac, Annihilus, and finally Galactus. The only time the Masters of Evil ever really threaten the world, it's using Norn Stones, and a plot hatched by the Asgardians, Loki and Enchantress. These are all extraterrestrial or extra-dimensional beings, or at least their powers are. No, the only true Earthborn threat on this level is Ultron. Except for the Cosmic Cube, but that's not a villain, it's a thing. Anyway, the background for this scene, it's the climax of a 2-part story, which sees Ultron, an originally pacifist AI developed by Hank Pym, this show's Ant-Man, try to achieve its directive, world peace. Only, in a fairly predictable twist, the solution it finds is global human extinction. To this end, Ultron hijacks S.H.I.E.L.D. in order to commandeer the codes to the world's nuclear missiles. It's here that the plan is revealed to the Avengers, in Ultron's villainous monologue.
The codes. He's got S.H.I.E.L.D.'s missile codes.
Director Maria Hill, security codes accepted. Nuclear missile launch in progress.
He's firing a nuclear missile?
No, not a missile. All of them.
Humanity has failed as a species. You have accomplished much with your limited capacity. But ultimately, you were too greedy and too frail to ever last in the environment you have created. Soon, the Earth will no longer be inhabitable for any biological organism. Man, woman, child, plant, animal, fungus, or bacterium. All life will cease to exist. This is not a threat. There is nothing you can do to stop it. The process has already begun. I receive no pleasure in this. It is simply the only solution. There must be peace and order. The end of life on Earth will ensure that. Goodbye.
What I love about this show's Ultron is its utter roboticness. Unlike some modern interpretations of the character, Joss Whedon! No, I'm sorry, I don't know what that was. But unlike certain other Ultron stories, this being is cold and motionless. You can hear it in the voice, it's all monotone, there's no emphasis on any words. It's like if Alexa turned genocidal. It feels like nobody's there. That this is just some preordained, automated program to destroy humanity running right on schedule. And maybe that's exactly what we're seeing. It's important at this point to consider Ultron's instrument of death. Nuclear missiles, hundreds of them from all over the world. This plan isn't sci-fi nonsense like a death ray, or, I don't know, causing a city to fly into space and then turn into a meteor. It's the same sort of accidental atomic apocalypse we've narrowly avoided ourselves a few times. This fate is kind of realistic. A few computer glitches could cause this. Ultron doesn't even really need to be there. Remember Ultron's origin. Remember its complete lack of emotional motivation. Remember that this is the only world-ending threat that the Earth can generate in this show. That's why the scene is scary. It's not about Ultron. Ultron is merely a stand-in for what we've made, the catastrophic potential for human structures and technology that have grown beyond our control. Ultron claims order as the goal here, and I don't think I need to tell you that atrocities have been and are being committed in the name of a social or biological order designed by this regime or that. Ultron tells the world, this is not a threat, there is nothing you can do to stop it. It's reality, and so are the systems he represents. Human inventions, technological and social, have long spiraled out of control from an individual perspective. Modern states, economic frameworks, and oh yeah, nukes have the power to utterly ravage the world, and there's nothing you or I can do to stop them. When I was younger, I watched this program around the time it was coming out, and the nukes in the scene terrified me so much more than any of the other characters or events, and I knew why. They were real, and a situation like this, well, that could be real too. Ultron was created for peace, but this is ultimately what causes the crisis we see in the scene, a dynamic which unmistakably echoes Cold War doctrines like mutually assured destruction and the arms race, which paradoxically chased peace but put the world closer than ever to disaster, as seen in the Cuban Missile Crisis, which I think the Ultron scene here intentionally evokes. And that's the worst part of this scene, it doesn't really get better once Ultron is defeated. Sure, the immediate crisis is averted for now, but there'll be more. Ultron will be back, and the techno-apocalyptic genie is well and truly out of the bottle. It's telling that the only thing that can physically hold off Ultron is a literal deus ex machina, or I guess they're a deus contra machina. Earlier in the episode, Hank realizes why Ultron is acting this way, trying to destroy the world. It's because part of Ultron's brain is based on the human brain.
During the fighting at the mansion, I realized there was a flaw in Ultron's logic, because his programming is based on the human mind.
Even when the episode ends with Ultron's defeat, the victory is hollow. While Tony Stark, the ex-weapons manufacturer, and perhaps the figure most complicit in this runaway destructive power of modernity, tries to convince Maria Hill that it wasn't Hank's fault, it wasn't humanity which put all this in motion, Hank stops him. She's right. And those nuclear silos, well, they're still there, waiting for the next Ultron, or the next war, or the next glitch. Anyway, that about wraps up my one Villainous scene. I'd love to know what you thought down below. If this video makes it into the playlist, then watch some more on this series. There's some vastly better creators than me doing these. But if you like what I had to say, then consider subscribing. If you're fast, you can be the 3rd ever Pillar of Garbage subscriber. And if this show's new to you, give it a watch. There's some really brilliant stories here, like Emperor Stark, which sees the Vision, all alone, wake up in a dystopian future ruled by a suddenly evil Avengers squad. I won't spoil it any more than that, but to me, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes is still the gold standard for adapting old Marvel stories and characters. As far as I'm concerned, plenty of the representations we see in this show are the definitive ones, and I'm definitely counting Ultron in this category. And come on, this theme song slaps!